There has been a proposal for the spouses of the president and the vice president to receive some emolument. Now, this has generated a huge conversation in the public domain. It has also attracted some court actions from some members of parliament and other citizens of Ghana. Now, today on the Citi Newsroom, we are here at the Parliament House where a law will be backing this call. But first, let's take a report on the details of the Emoluments Committee.
The Presidential Committee on Emolument, led by Professor Ya Ntiamwa Beidu, was commissioned by President Akufo-Addo in 2019 to review the emolument of Article 71 office holders. The committee recommended that a spouse of the president must be paid a salary equivalent to a cabinet minister MP as currently pertains when in office. Currently, government officials in that category are being paid 33,270 Ghana cedis. Again, when out of office, the spouse of the president will be paid a salary equivalent of 80% of the salary of a Minister of State MP if the spouse served one full term as president, or 100% of salary of a Minister of State MP if spouse served 2 or more full terms as president. Minister of State MPs are paid 30,644 Ghana cedis monthly. The committee also recommended that the spouse of a vice president should be paid a salary equivalent to a cabinet minister, non-MP, as currently pertains when in office. Government officials in that group receive an amount of 32,832 Ghana cedis. Also, when out of office, the spouse of the vice president should be paid a salary equivalent to 80% of salary of a Minister of State non-MP if spouse served one full term as vice president, or 100% of salary of a Minister of State non-MP if spouse served 2 or more full terms. Minister of State non-MP receives an amount of 30,206 Ghana cedis.
Meanwhile, some NDC MPs have sued the state over the recommendations from the Emoluments Committee.
We find this to be unconstitutional, and we are asking the apex court of the land to address it appropriately.
Of course, we will know the terms as to when this matter will be called later on. But while that goes on, some have made the argument that this started as far back as even the Rawlings era, and it's just a quest to formalize what already exists.
Well, yes, that argument has been made, but there is a difference between what is lawful, what is legal, what is constitutional, and what is not. If, as a nation, we agree that it is time for us to institutionalize support, whether it is benefits when the president and the vice president are still holding office or after they have left office, that is a conversation that we can have. And nothing prevents us from crafting legislation to deal with that. But to try and smuggle them in, by extending the definition of Article 71 holders to include, by and large, if this recommendation should stand, to include the spouses of the president and the vice, clearly is against the word and letter of the said article. And that is why we are challenging this in court.
The proposal for the spouses of the first and second gentlemen of the land to receive emolument has generated huge debate among the citizenry. And so today on the Citi Newsroom, we are on the streets of the capital to find out from Ghanaians what they make of this proposal. Boss, how are you?
I'm fine by the grace.
Right, what's your name?
My name is Stephen Kpakpo-Mingo.
Great. So have you heard that the spouses of the president and the vice president are going to be receiving, well, some call it salaries, others say it's allowance. Have you heard this?
I've heard it.
What do you think about it?
I disagree with that.
Why?
Why? Because if they can explain which country it happens there, there's no country. It's for them to work, because there's no food for a lazy man. It's for them to work so that they will pay according to their work. Not they will be there and they will be paying.
But Ghana can be the first country to do it.
No, we shouldn't. Ghana will be first country to do it. We start from Rawlings or how do you call it? The former president passed by, Kufuor, even Kufuor self. We will start from there. But so far as it's not in Parliament, now it seems there's something that they are creating it. Formally, it seems like they have brain past the former president. No, this time we don't agree with it. Let the way we are going that way. It's for them to find them job to do. When they work, they should pay them according to their work. But they can never be there and they be paying. It's not good. It's not good for me. No.
Right. To be frank with you, I think it's not that a good idea because the money can be used to support the citizens in the country, and as well there are some things going on which is not that appropriate. So I think the money should be used to support the citizens, not to the president, the spouses of the president. Yeah.
But you know that first ladies or second ladies also embark on various humanitarian activities and all. Don't you think they need that support in a way?
Oh no, the president takes the money, so he can take care of. They can take care of their wives with that. So there is no need to give them that amount of money.
All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
But is this the first time this conversation is coming up?
The Presidential Committee on Emoluments, while undertaking its duty, considered the welfare of the spouses of presidents and vice presidents. According to the initial reports on the work of the committee cited by Citi News, concerns were raised on the lack of clarity on the obligation of the state towards the spouses of presidents and vice presidents. The committee therefore recommended that the spouses of former and sitting presidents should be catered for as part of privileges to presidents and vice presidents. The committee noted that while there was no specific mention of the spouses of the president and vice president as part of Article 71 office holders, most of them suffered in foreign lands when their partners are out of office. The committee, however, indicated that first and second ladies have always been catered for since the year 2000. It noted that quarterly allowances and other courtesies were extended to the spouses of the first and second gentlemen. But the first and second ladies began receiving monthly salaries in the later part of the administration of former President John Agyekum Kufuor, which was on humanitarian grounds. This has since been the case by successive administrations, including the current government. The new recommendations from the Emoluments Committee, when agreed upon according to the committee, will help give legal status to the support that has always been rendered to spouses of first and second gentlemen. Per the recommendations cited by Citi News, they will be catered for while their partners are in office and out of office.
Now, as part of conversation on whether or not the spouses of the president and the vice president should be given some emolument, the NDC and some civil society organizations have raised concerns.
First ladies or second ladies or spouses of the president or vice president are not part. So it is unconstitutional to try and smuggle in these individuals and even equate them to cabinet ministers and pay them salaries. We all know that even some of the Article 71 office holders retire on their salary. So the question even is, assuming without even admitting that they succeed in making these salary payments, what will happen when the person leaves office? Will the spouses continue to receive these salaries, or would they also retire on the salary? It doesn't make sense. There is no constitutional backing for it. But secondly, which is even more important, is the rationality. We are setting a very, very dangerous precedent. A precedent that today, if you allow spouses of the president and the vice president to have these salaries paid, tomorrow another president comes and says that let's extend the same courtesies to the MPs. MPs also have spouses because they are also Article 71 office holders. How then, is it possible that you ask us to tighten our belts, you ask us not to expect salary increment, and you are ready to pay salary to your wife and the wife of the vice president, and you even want to pay by paying them, pay the back, you backdate the payment. So as we speak, allowance alone that will be accrued to the First Lady, Rebecca Akufo-Addo, is in excess of 6 million. Salaries that will accrue to them is in excess of 1 million. We do not have the luxury, we do not have the resources to support this kind of expenditure. It is completely needless.
I think that the conversation has been very clear. We are not totally against payment of salaries and emoluments or any form of wages to first and second ladies. What we are saying is that the right thing must be done. If you read the Constitution, there is no mention of the first and second ladies. There's no clear-cut rule specified for these two individuals under the law. And so it is almost impossible to recommend any form of payment to them with taxpayers' money. And so once you want to take a decision to pay them some form of remuneration, then their roles must be properly specified under the law, and there should be a clear-cut mechanism to hold them accountable for the performance of those roles, in respect of which they'll be paid salaries by the taxpayer. And so it will be important that the Attorney General will introduce a presidential spouses bill that will clearly specify the roles of first and second ladies under the law, and the kind of remuneration that they will be paid in respect of those roles, and how they'll be assessed, how they'll be held accountable for the performance of those functions, just as any other public officer. Then when you're paying salaries to them, we know that they've earned it, not just because they are married to someone else, but because they are performing a very special function to the state.